On today's episode of Bolts and Hose podcast, we have a very special guest by the name of Jeremy Osterberger joining us from BIC Magazine. We also have our show and tell where we highlight our ability to perform secondary operations on existing parts. And Paul and Alex join us for another segment of the mailbag. You can find all that and more on this week's episode of Bolts and Hose podcast.
Boats and hose, boats and hose. I gotta have me my boats and hose. Boats and hose, boats and hose. I gotta have me my...
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to Bolts and Hose Podcast, episode 10. We've got a phenomenal show today. I think everybody is going to go bananas over the quality of this show today.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, man.
We've got a very, very special guest, Mr. Jeremy
Osterberger.
That's a heck of a name. That's a mouthful.
President and COO of BIC Alliance.
BIC Alliance. He's a phenomenal dude, great personality. We filmed the interview earlier, so that's going to be a really interesting segment, I think. So Bryce was doing the interview with the questions. And cool chemistry between the two of us, so that's very entertaining. You won't want to miss that. We've got a cool little mailbag segment at the end, and then before all that, we'll do the show and tell, some cool parts that were in the shop today.
We're going to do a show and tell right now.
Okay, let's do it.
I think that's easy.
Okay, let's jump into it.
We might as well.
Yeah, might as well.
We're here. We got beer. We got parts. Let's talk parts.
Got a little mosaic again today.
This is, I've actually switched a couple times in this podcast. This is a 14% black IPA. It's called Nuts and Berries. So you can taste the pecans and the hazelnuts and the blueberries and the strawberries. And
that's the least manly thing you've ever said, Bryce.
You know what? We got these, baby.
Sun's out, guns out.
All right, let's go.
You have no credibility on any of this stuff after a 14% beer.
No, I wouldn't listen to what I say.
This is going to be very entertaining.
So my friends, we always talk about like machine parts. We bring in bar, we make some cool socket, we make some cool hex bolt, studs, whatever the case is. One thing that we do quite a bit is we take a finished part, just a commodity item similar to this socket cap screw.
You can get that at the local hardware store, basically.
Yeah, and so we had a customer that wanted to take an existing part and then just machine in a dog point. So it's the same part, except we put it on a machine, we cut it back, and then just turn down a dog point on it. So very simple to do, but it is still, it's a machine component. So take, finished part and add some value to it.
So it's a modified part, but we call it secondary process. So we're taking an existing part, we're modifying it in some way. So we're putting a hole in it, we're drilling it, we're cutting it, just modifying it in some way. So it makes it a lot easier because the base part already exists. Most of the work's already been done. We can modify it at a pretty economical price and a quick turnaround.
Commodity 2H. I don't know what size this is. I'm going to guess that's what, an inch and a quarter maybe?
An inch and an eighth.
Inch and an eighth?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We're going to measure that. Put that in the comments if anybody knows.
So it's just a 2H nut.
When the customer's hands are very small, if you need anything relative, I guess that's
so it's just a 2H nut, and customers send us their nuts, and we are drilling Tommy holes in it for tensioning. And then, you can't see, but we over-tapped it because our customer is going to send them out to get coated. I think these are actually going to be Teflon coated green, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But just another cool thing that we can do. It's very easy for us to do, and do it all the time. Another part that we do is, we'll take blanks. We actually stock quite a bit of blanks and hex bolts and 12 points. And on these, we're actually cutting. This is B16 material, so we're just going to cut and thread to length. We're fully threading them for a very good customer. So something else, we're just taking an existing part and modifying it to meet a customer's needs.
Yeah. So we'll stock these blanks, and all of the head work will already be done, which is great because we don't have to do that part. That's the toughest part. But then you'll stock this in a length that's longer than most people would order. So we can cut this in any length and then apply the thread in either fine thread or coarse thread, since it has the same major diameter, and then we can apply the thread, either partial thread or full thread or whatever. So it allows us a lot of versatility to turn around what would be a custom part in a very short amount of time.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, just something a little different, so you can see, more of our capabilities. It's not just machine components all the time. We do some, fairly simple parts from time to time as well.
Very good. So stick around for the rest of the segments. We'll be right back with Jeremy from BIC.
Bolts and hose.
All right, keep going.
We got a special guest here today at Ingenious Brewery. Joining us is Jeremy Osterberger from the BIC Alliance.
You nailed it.
Perfect. I was nervous I was going to mispronounce something.
It's perfectly fine.
Well done.
Nice job.
So he's going to join us, talk about kind of what's going on with BIC and what's going on in the market and some cool projects coming up. So tell us about how kind of BIC got its start, I guess.
First off, did we cut our hands and blood shake first? Is that how we do it here?
Well, okay, here, how about this? Let's cheers one. Cheers. All right.
No, that's a lot more.
A lot more fitting.
A lot less violent.
Yeah, exactly.
So there. What you got, man? What's this, like a hazy IPA? What you got there?
Hazy IPA. I got a black IPA.
They had that. That's my favorite.
It's very smooth, actually.
I guess I have to stay.
It's called Come and Drink It.
It's a perfect name.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good. Excellent.
I'm not mad at it.
No, it's tasteful. It's very tasty. No, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Bryce.
thanks for
really
coming
cool. So y'all been doing this a while,
Episode number 10.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so we try to do it every week. I think we missed 1 week. So we've been doing 11 weeks, episode number 10. And
only 10,000 more to go.
Yeah, we got, I think we're up to 6 viewers now. So we're climbing.
Well, I'll be the 7th. and maybe my mom will be there. Right?
Yeah, there you
She
go.
probably wants to.
Yeah, that's great about having guests. Your viewership grows.
Well, it's also great about having a mom.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Moms are.
Yeah, and then they have a friend.
Like, she's going to be like, it was awful, but she'll tell me she loved it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's mixed.
It is. That's so true. It's so true. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for having me here. And it's a beautiful place here at Ingenious.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. They do a good job, hosting us and letting us come in here and crash the party a little bit. They turn down the music for us when we do the podcast.
And I appreciate the tour of Patriot. And I can tell you that if anyone's around here, they ought to come here and check out the shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here, check out the shop.
Yeah, so they appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
So jump into BIC.
Okay, so BIC Alliance is our parent company.
Yep.
Most people know us from BIC Magazine.
Yep.
Which is sort of a misnomer now. Podcasts, webinars, videos, programmatic display ads. We're handling some social media for a few clients, right? So many things are tucked into that. We'll just call it media, right?
Yeah. The game's changed a lot, hasn't it?
It's changing every week, it feels like, right? And then recruiting, right? Is another thing.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So you're an industrial contractor,
Yep.
looking for people, salespeople. We placed 2 presidents this year, right? So C-suite.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow,
So
that's impressive.
VPs of sales, estimators, safety directors. So kind of dipping our toe into some of the field level craftsman placements, right? We would use a third-party partner for that, so not quite ready to throw that out there, but we're starting to do a little bit of that. And then the third leg of our triangle is kind of unique and somewhat surprising to most people, and that is mergers and acquisitions, right? So we represent sales side deals for industrial business owners that maybe want to do an equity event, right? Why do I say it weird like that? Because they're not necessarily selling, right? Maybe selling a portion of their company.
Yeah, sure.
So we build either platform companies or add-ons, right?
Yep.
Or maybe a private equity group that already has a platform company that would add on to that. So it makes a lot of sense, right? All of our contacts through our media relations are all, right, business owners, right? And at some point in time, they usually want to get somewhere, either hand it to their kids or they want to do some sort of equity event. We actually closed on the deal last week.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, so we've done about 22 deals in our history.
That's awesome. I mean, you guys have always been so close to the market, and you know what's going on. You probably have some insight on who's selling, who's buying. So that just makes sense for you guys to jump into that.
That's right, Bryce. So BIC is business and industry connection. Yeah, right. Our whole mission statement is to connect people in business and industry for the betterment of all, right? And so we think that there's 3 ways we do it: BIC Magazine, BIC Recruiting, IVS. It's called IVS Investment Banking. That's our M&A firm. That is our core entities that perform that operation. Right? So, the founder of the company is really interesting. His name is Earl Hurd.
Okay.
Earl was a genius and a legend in our industry. Yeah. He is very well known for having done these. He did this alligator marketing and training, right? And so when people were getting into this industry back in the 80s, he would teach them about upstream, midstream, downstream, right? So he's a teacher and a trainer by blood. He was a fire and safety training coordinator in all the plants. And Earl actually started the BIC as a video company.
Really?
Okay, right. And so the interesting thing about it is he had these pamphlets and these flyers that were telling people what videos were coming up. Like, hey, we're going to do a tank fire and safety training video coming up. He had a pamphlet. He would distribute it all over South Louisiana, right? The company was founded in South Louisiana about it.
I didn't know that either.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, our headquarters is now here in Houston.
Yeah.
All right, so Earl had this pamphlet. These people said, well, Earl, I want to advertise in your flyer and your pamphlet.
Yeah.
You're sending this thing to plant
everywhere,
managers, fire and safety
People that we want to be in front of.
turnaround coordinators.
Sure, yeah.
That blew up, and he built BIC as a publication.
That's crazy.
Not a video company.
Wow.
But what's interesting is we come full circle here, and now we're doing it all, right? So that's kind of the history of BIC. And then his son-in-law, Thomas Briscoe, really took Earl's model and really made it into a thriving business, right?
Thomas was the face for, still is.
Still is. He's still CEO, and Thomas has absolutely took what Earl started and certainly grew that from there, right? And so, we have about 27 employees here in the Kima area, and it's all done out of how the magic all happens by the wonderful people at BIC that make it happen, all our staff.
How do you guys stay so connected? I mean, what's the secret? I mean, you got to have people everywhere just getting all the information.
The key is a lot of time sacrifice.
Yeah, I'm sure.
To be honest with you. We try and be everywhere. We split up a lot. We covered probably 3 events this week. And
so what events, like, for example, like this was downstream?
You know, we're at Downstream Conference. We're at the ASSP, which is American Society of Safety Professionals, right? Right. We got to cover safety, such a huge part of our industry, right?
Absolutely.
That was over in San Antonio.
Yep.
And then we were. What's that? Well, we weren't at Valverde. It's another one. We were at the Texas Chemical Council Environmental Health and Safety Show.
Okay. Was that here in Houston?
It was down in Galveston.
So you had 2 in Galveston, 1 in San Antonio this week.
Absolutely. And then we had a banquet last night where we may have had a couple cocktails.
No way.
Like just one.
Really?
Well, we behaved ourselves pretty well. But absolutely, man. So it's all about. I think at BIC what we prioritize is where are the owner-operators, and we know that the contractors will be there, right?
Exactly.
And that I think that is where we really hone in. That's the tip of our spear, and that's our secret sauce. And the other thing is just relentless servants of our clients.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and I know that everyone says that, but like for us, I don't know. I'd say it's a mantra, a mandate. It is a lifeblood of our organization. And our database, man. Like, we have got to maintain our database, right? I mean, in this industry, so many people are moving around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
This turnaround coordinator went here, and part of our media services, right, so that people gain access to our database. So their sales teams can lean on us for contacts all over the country.
So you can dig in. So if if you're one of your clients, they can dig into a database and they can go and look up an end user and figure out who the planners are, and turnaround coordinators.
So where they can request some data, we assist them, and that's awesome.
That's a big value there.
Big part of it. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, that's got to be. I mean, guess what's the strategy to go find? I mean, you got to go to all these end users, and those guys are typically busy, right? I mean, you don't want to talk to a sales guy promoting a publication, right? Media services, and
right. So we have to give them something, right? So what do we give them? Content, best practices. We have to give them webinars, right? So they attend our webinars, they're watching our videos. One of our most popular items is a newsletter, right? So we kick that out to about 22,000 people, and in there we obviously have some opportunities for our marketing partners to get their message out. But those headlines are everything from, hey, Southern Rock is building a refinery in Cushing, Oklahoma, which is just announced this week, right? So those type of headlines. Hey, I don't know if y'all saw that. You said lightning strike at Calcasieu.
That was crazy. It was like it hit, and it was like a second. You could see like some lightning kind of kicking around, and then
that was wild. It's not good. It was crazy. My point is like, wow, man.
It was wild.
All captured on video.
Yeah.
So like take that side alone, man. We got to hit the EHS director. We got to hit the plant manager, right? BIC has got the challenging thing now, Bryce, is that, and y'all know this. We're on a podcast right now. I mean, media is consumed in so many ways, right? So our mentality is we don't care if we're doing a podcast, a magazine, a website. Our website gets about 1.5 million page views, by the way, which I'm very proud of, and congrats to the digital team for doing so well at building that. Yeah, no, it's been a a digital journey, as I would say, but they're amazing. And then all our content people, our editors, our writers, look, you got to have something to read. So our whole thing is, we don't care if it's carrier pigeon, the Web3, I don't care what it's going to be. Our whole thing is, if we have content that people want to consume, the media doesn't matter. Sure. That kind of makes sense, right? Yeah. So then monetizing that media is probably the hardest part.
Sure. So just finding, I'm assuming advertising is the...
Yep. A lot of content to lead gen is popular right now, right? So you produce top three mistakes you're making with your bolting and torquing solutions, right? Might be something for you guys, right? Yep. So that clickable headline can lead you to so many places that we can capture those folks that click that, and now I'm providing leads to you, right? So we're doing a lot of that content to lead gen stuff, and just video marketing is and it's fun now with tools like this podcast. So look, we're making a video right now. It doesn't require. And back in the day when Earl started his business, it cost $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to do what we're doing,
right? I mean, you got to have a cameraman, and
now it's like a few days in a brewery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. We got a boom handler over there.
That's awesome. So, but at the same time, for media companies, that is a challenge, right? We have to constantly invest in people that can perform the medium by which we are communicating.
At what point, that's one of the things, at what point, because you guys, I remember cutting my teeth as a young salesman in town, trying to get contacts, and so BIC was a big part of that, right? You're flipping through there, getting leads, you look in the back, it was a requirement. If you wanted to do something, you're getting BIC.
Well, I'll give you a third example. So you're exactly right, and people still do that a lot with us. So in this issue of our publication, it's print and it's digital. We have, Beth Holland, who's going to be over that MDI3 project in Geismar, Louisiana, where we want to learn about her mindset. If you want to know about her values and what she's trying to accomplish, you might want to read the article we've got in our publication right now. She's spelling it all out there.
Okay.
So if you're consuming BIC and you're a pretty productive and intelligent salesperson, you ought to be taking things out of there, and you should be, when you're making your presentation, you might want to put those buzzwords.
No doubt.
Right?
You're absolutely right.
So people use BIC that way, they get a lot of value out of it.
Yeah, for sure. If you're in tune, if you know what's going on in the market, you talk to your customer about that.
And that kind of flips over to kind of my family, right? So my father was a 40-year Dow guy. He's an EH&S director and turnaround coordinator. Okay. And he would.
Where at?
Plaquemine, Louisiana. Yeah, Plaquemine. I grew up in Baton Rouge, so he crossed that river every day of his life. 40 years. I talked to his boss one time before we retired. I said, just go ahead and build a casket. Yeah. Because he's supposed to be buried right here in the plant. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
He literally gave up half his life. Love you, Dad. Awesome guy. So, my dad would always say he was the liaison for the United Way for Dow. Yeah. Okay, he's a real PR guy. Yep. My dad organized the Jambalaya cook-off that happened every year in downtown Louisiana. I'm getting to a point here. The point is, he wanted his contractors, his partners, the guys in his plant to be a part of that.
Yeah, sure.
Because he wanted to know them. He wanted to know what they're about, their values. So my point is, consuming BIC and learning about these companies' values, and not the company, the individuals of those companies, man, that's key. If you're going to try and penetrate some of these facilities that are extremely hard to get into.
Yeah, for sure.
But
that credibility, man, it goes a long way.
Yeah. No, but a pretty cool story about two people. One is my father. The other one's my grandfather. That's worth telling, and that is, so my grandfather was a 50-year ExxonMobil Baton Rouge guy.
Okay.
So his nickname was Biscuit. James Biscuit Davis.
So how did he get the nickname Biscuit? Is there a story?
Okay, let's hear the story. So my grandfather knew that the key to job security, was through the stomach. He would wake up about an hour earlier. You already got to be at the plant at 5 or whatever. Yep. So he's there an hour early, cooking homemade cat head biscuits.
Nice.
He had a roll of wax paper, rip off the wax paper, and in the plant manager's office, his boss, a couple other key people in the plant, almost every morning, he'd cook a cat head, just put it on wax paper in.
So, I guess, apologies for my stupidity here.
Yeah.
What is a cat head biscuit?
A really large biscuit that's the size of a cat.
So just a big biscuit.
It's kind of frightening to think of why the name happened. I
know. Because you got me thinking, I was like, is there something inside that biscuit?
It's Louisiana.
Yeah, sure. It probably was.
In Louisiana, you eat it first and ask questions.
Yeah, right. Then you add some gravy on top of it.
Yeah, sure. Whatever, man. The word darker the root.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. Anything in a real eat. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter, right?
For sure.
Yeah. I've had a little rabbit sauce pecan.
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Anything gators I'm good with, right?
So you got to be going somewhere with the biscuit.
So here's I'm connecting the dots, right? And the reality is, my whole family been marketing people. So you got to find your biscuit. You know what I mean? Like if you're trying to cut through the clutter, what's your value proposition?
Yeah.
How do you say that in 30 seconds? If you cannot, you're failing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what are the 3 things that make you unique from your competitors? What are the 3 solutions you provide? And what are the top 3 case studies you can say, for which your product or service impacted an organization?
Yep.
And that's kind of BIC's whole model. We consult our clients. That's what we're saying. Right? And so you got to find your biscuit.
Yeah. The biscuit. I love
Find
it.
your biscuit. Yeah.
And then your dad.
So my dad was the same way. So my father was oddly, he's a perfectly balanced ambidextrous.
Okay, really?
Right. So he was a freehand artist. So he was an operator playing at the H&S director turnaround corner, but his passion was freehand art. Okay. So people know this, that wherever in Louisiana, Plaquemine, Dow Louisiana operations for 50 years, they know for 40 years they know who my dad was.
Yeah.
Every turnaround sticker, any stickers on a hard hat. You follow me?
Yeah, sure.
My dad drew all those for the plant for like 4 years.
Really?
Hand drawn.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember being a kid and he'd be like in his shed, the shop, and he's drawing like in the summer he would do heat stress.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? It's like a little flame and hydrate, whatever.
Sure.
It's like little caricatures, right?
Yeah, right.
So I mentioned my grandfather's biscuit, and my dad found his biscuit, and that was he used his artistic ability, and he wove it into his career in the chemical industry.
Yeah.
And what he did was, when people were tired, he would draw a caricature of their face.
Nice.
He would draw things about them around it, like in South Louisiana. Everybody had LSU somewhere, right?
Sure.
It's all about LSU, right? But there'd be LSU logo, GEAUX.
Yeah, exactly right.
Is that that's how I spell it?
I think that's not right. I think it's GU.
I'm gonna ignore you. I mean, I'm just gonna go with EAUX. But so he would make these caricatures, and he would put it in a plaque. And when someone retired, he would hand it to them.
That's awesome.
So, but man, no one's firing the guy.
Yeah, right.
That does that because you're not going to get your caricature.
Yeah, exactly. And people were looking forward to that. I'm sure. Like people were retired, like, "Where's my plaque?" Right?
Yeah, it's so. Look, man, I'm like being on the street. And I'm sitting there looking at my last name. People grab my name badge. Are like, "Holy hell, are you the child of Sid?
right.
Are you Sid's kid?" And they'd be like, "Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
That guy made me up."
So can you draw?
No what? My wife's an artist. She's amazing.
All right, there you go.
Zero. I mean, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But no, like he's good. I'm
gonna put you on. You should draw something for me. I'm kidding.
What's a smiley face?
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. So you got to have some insight, something juicy, something that came out here recently that you can share with.
Yeah, man. So anyone listening in the industrial market, you want some intelligence, right? So
yeah, we love it.
Yeah. So just in the past week, a lot of things came out. So I was hanging out with some folks from BASF out of the Port Arthur Orange area.
Yep.
Bird told me there's probably some turnarounds coming up. Looking like going to be some. I'd say right now in the Port Arthur site, they're going through some scope of what this turnaround is going to be. But I would say between 2025 and 2026 is when these events might be happening. So if you're out there in the Golden Triangle region, you might want to pay attention to that. Speaking of the Golden Triangle, 171 billion being spent in that region. I think it's the hottest region in the country right now.
Unbelievable, man.
Huge projects like OCI, this deep blue project, right? This blue ammonia plant they're building in Beaumont, right? So huge opportunity there. Outside of that, you've got ExxonMobil.
Big expansion, right?
Just finished their expansion, that Blade expansion. Kind of interesting on that is, someone like Mark Worth, Chevron CEO, said that may be the last refinery built in America. Now, I think that's a misnomer. This is we change out units and expand existing assets, but to clear ground, put concrete, build structure, interesting. You got to listen when someone like that, somebody like that says
it's a crazy thing to hear. I mean, I think we all we think that, but to hear him say it, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, it's you got to be thinking too. A lot of these conversions are happening, right? P66 Rodeo, renewable diesel conversion. Shell Convent's going through that in Louisiana. I mean, you've seen all the Diamond Green Diesel stuff that's been put together. It's incredible things that they're doing. Sure. But there's also a lot of challenges here. I read in S&P Global, I'll cite another news source. They said that animal fat feedstock prices are really starting to rise. I mean, you've seen the same thing with lithium and copper. We talk about going to battery storage. So, these prices are going to be interesting. And will that affect some commitments in those ESG areas? You're starting to see some pushback from investors, right? So, the reality is, no matter what energy does. It all needs to be expanded, and almost every true 30, 50-year goal includes more fossil fuels at a rate of consumption that we have. I was saying the other day, Bryce, like I opened up our, everyone's got their junk cabinet, you know what I'm talking about? I got 3 kids.
Yeah.
Man, so we opened
the door you open, it was just stuff.
What's in there?
Yeah, right.
Might be a body.
Yeah, right.
It's definitely knives.
For sure. For sure.
So firecrackers.
Yeah.
So black cats.
Without a doubt, there's black cats in
There's
there.
definitely black cats in the trunk drawer.
For sure.
So open it up, and there's just like these power cords everywhere. You know what I'm talking about? And I thought, like, wait a minute, we used to have like 1.
Right.
Or 2.
Right.
We got Nintendo
They're everywhere.
Switches,
Yeah.
phones, right? You know what I mean? I got things charging chargers to charge my phone.
It's crazy.
Right?
You got extension cords with like 3 plugs, and you got the C cord and the mini C cord. And it's bananas. All the
I didn't
different.
get that straight, but they got like some sort of like.
They do.
Can we agree on something?
Yeah. Let's just keep it.
Come on,
keep it
Apple.
simple. Yeah. Apple's the one. They always have to change it, right? They
I
always,
blame Apple.
Yeah. Because you go out and buy a new one, right?
Well, they're trying to make you buy all.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So my point is the energy consumption just seems to be, I've seen it in my life, I've seen it in your life, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that finding that spectrum that makes sense, that also doesn't put people in energy poverty, I think is a concern. So I don't like to say energy transition. I call it an energy expansion. I mean,
for sure.
We're transitioning by definition, but if you really look at demand, I don't. That's not really an accurate term. In my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's just more people, the more electronics, the more vehicles, the more everything. And there's such growth, and you're going to need power and energy, right?
yeah, no, you're going to need it, and it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. I think. I think that COVID is interesting because of the emphasis on reshoring, repatriating investment, in America, right? And I think the war in the Ukraine just, further highlights, upsets in regions and how it impacts, the world, right? I read something, I don't know, it's probably 6 months ago, that 40% of all of the fertilizer industry has been offset by the war in Ukraine, right? I mean, that's so another highlight for contractors, I think, your Cargills and CF Industries and folks that are,
Absolutely.
it's got to be opportunity in that
Big
world.
time. I mean, I know, there's one up north. They're doing a complete plant shutdown in September. So there's a lot of opportunities there, man. They're going to keep on churning and burning. So they're going to have to stop and replace and repair and fix, so they can just be more efficient.
That's it.
Absolutely.
No, I just wanted to run through a couple of highlights for some folks that are interested.
Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, the publication is, I think everyone in town who's in the industry picks it up at some point and checks it out. There's just so much good information in it. So what's next for you guys? Is there anything coming up?
Yeah, man. I think for BIC, it's staying on top of, how do we deliver information to our owner operators, right? And then the other side of our business is, how do we serve our clients from a marketing perspective as well as we can, right? And so I think for us, it's, we're definitely seeing the aging out of folks that have been in this industry for a very long time, right? And so we see it. I'll use my dad again. He retired from Dow. 3 amazing people came in. They're babies, you know what I mean? And they still call them like, hold on a second, we can't figure this out.
And you can't teach that 30 years of experience. There's just one way to figure it out.
Unless we can what's Elon Musk doing? Like Neuralink, whatever. Rip someone's brain out. Right. And I think most people tell you we're doing a pretty terrible job of capturing that experience and wisdom, and actually finding a way to transition that. I don't know if that investment has really been made, right?
Sure.
And it's legit, man. Just in my 20 years at BIC, it's hard for me to say that. 20 years at BIC to see the names that I knew. Now I'm like, wait a minute, like they're retiring, right? And so for us, it's capturing that next wave of decision makers, right? And with so many different outlets for media, that is more of a challenge, right? Sure. So that's our goal and our challenge and our mandate, and also exciting in many ways.
Sure. You guys have done a good job, I think, of adapting and putting everything online, and just the variety of ways that you can capture content now it's impressive.
It is, and LinkedIn, social media, all that is a powerful tool
for sure. Well, man, keep up the good work.
I had a fun, Bryce. Good time, man. Let's come back.
It's good having you again. Anytime. We love talking shop, and obviously your little insight. It's good to hear.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
It's entertaining.
I'll come back and talk about my mom next time.
Please do.
Wherever you need.
I love it. Jeremy, Thanks, buddy. So much. Appreciate you coming on.
We didn't even watch it.
Next time. All right, thanks.
All right, gentlemen, welcome to another segment of the mailbag with our lovely host, Paul Salinas. And we have a special guest today, Mr. Alex, the Wild Man Hoover.
The Wild Man.
So appreciate you guys joining in.
Yeah.
Yes,
no problem.
sir.
It's good to be here, guys.
Loving every minute of it. It's Friday afternoon. You can't beat it.
You know, we've actually, a lot of people have commented about our podcast. It is called Bolts and Hose, and it's been heavy on the bolts and light on the hose. You know,
Not. There's never enough hose to go around. That's true.
So, you know, what the people want, the people will get. So we need more hose, Alex.
Demand and we shall supply. Okay.
That's right. I've got some questions from some avid listeners, but I just want to give you guys an update. And first of all, I'd like to say that I never thought these words would be coming from my mouth, but gentlemen, it's good to see your faces. It was a rough one last week. It was a rough one.
Looks rough, man. I felt really uncomfortable for you. We're glad you made it out alive, Paul.
Dude, you guys have no idea. I was surviving on amphibious reptiles, snakes, frogs, snails. I drank pond water.
Yeah,
I had dysentery. I've had the runs for a week.
Oregon Trail.
Dude, I'm wearing an adult diaper right now, just in case.
I thought I smelled something.
It's that bad, guys. So anyway, I'm happy to see you guys, and it was a good reconnaissance. It was good.
You guys are going to have to let me in on what we're talking about later. Sounds interesting.
To that report, Paul. Alex obviously didn't watch last week's episode.
Yeah, you got to watch last week's episode, Alex.
Yeah, I haven't caught up with that yet. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, not a problem. Well, listen,
we've been busy this week, so it's been good.
Alex is actually working.
Yes, he's selling hose, baby.
Yeah.
That's right, slinging it.
But seriously, so on the hose side, Bryce is correct. The people have spoken. They want to know more about the Patriot Fluid Transfer Solutions side. They want to hear more about Alex. And I just want to start off by saying this, as we all know, I think we can all agree on this, is that Bryce and Kris are shoulder deep into nuts. Alex is probably knees deep into hose. And together, you guys are the perfect package, right? So this is going to be a great segment. I'm really looking forward to this part. And let's hear what the people want to hear. So this comes from 12-inch Jose. I like that one. All right. So Alex, in regards, look, Patriot Fluid Transfer Solutions, you guys build all types of hoses. You guys build chemical and petroleum hoses. You guys do flexible metal hoses, industrial utility hoses, hydraulic hoses. Now, what type of applications are these hoses used for? I mean, these aren't the typical everyday, water hose. Kind of fill us in of what you guys are doing over there and what they're being used for.
Well, it ranges from anything from a water hose to really, really corrosive type dangerous services, like chlorine and things of that nature that, if released can hurt people. So the harder it is to build, the worse service it's for, the better we are at it, to be honest with you. That's really the stuff that we're good at. We like to get into the really highly engineered stuff, help customers work through what they really need. Because obviously we're not experts on refining oil and turning it into gasoline.
Right.
We're not experts on making plastics, and they're not going to be experts on, what the best hose may be for them to use. So we're available to help them walk through that so that they don't have to feel like they have to figure everything out on their own, So really like it whenever a customer comes with some challenging application and we've got to sort of wade through evaluating everything that that application has as far as parameters and temperatures and what's going through the hose, how much of it they need to go through the hose at what speed, and where it's being put, what external factors may be involved in it. So it's all about getting stuff from point A to point B. Bolts and gaskets do the same thing. They're sealing things. We're transferring things from point A to point B with hoses. So anything from water to to air, to steam, to nitrogen, and then more dangerous service like your acids and your solvents and things that, we really want to make sure stay contained,
Yeah, for sure.
We had an interesting one come up this morning that I've been making. Now, don't make fun of my drawing, guys. It's just a really rough, drawing that I'm sending to the customer to make sure this is indeed what they want. So we'll get to the pretty drawing later, but I'm going to share a screen real quick so you can kind of see it. So this is.
Sure you want to share your screen?
Yeah.
I was nervous for you there, Alex.
Yeah. Google has a history. Be careful with the letter A.
All right. So you guys seeing the drawing?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. So this is what's called a steam jacketed hose. And what it's meant to do is there's a process hose that goes through the middle. Okay. A smaller diameter hose is what's carrying whatever the process chemical or, whatever the media is that they're trying to get from point A to point B. All right. And for whatever reason, that chemical or whatever it is has to stay at a certain temperature to stay liquid. So they inject steam into a larger diameter hose as that process hose is transferring that chemical or that liquid or gas or whatever it is. So this is a really nifty and easy way to do that. And in this instance, they're actually moving it from place to place. So they're using these cam lock fittings. So I'm just going to go through it real quick. Sometimes people refer to it as a gut line hose, but it's really just a process hose that's in the middle. In this case, it's a 1-inch braided stainless steel hose. So it could be carrying anything. I'm not really sure what the actual application is of what it's carrying. But then you have a bigger hose on the outside that's got a concentric reducer, and this is all welded together so that space in between the smaller hose and the bigger hose is a void. To fit the steam in and to keep that smaller hose a certain temperature. So
nice.
This is how a plant is able to make things stay liquid and without doing something really expensive and really highly engineered, right? So they got these quick connect type fittings on called cam and groove fittings or cam lock fittings, and they're gonna go snap that on somewhere, and they're going to start their steam injection through a port here that we've drilled and tapped, and it's going to inject, and then it's going to come out through a drain hose. So this is something that, maybe in the next week or so, when we get this thing built, we can show the finished product on the next podcast, maybe the one after. Cool. And you'll be able to see, how it was actually made, and I'll try to take some good pictures along the process. So that's just an example of something that's kind of really highly engineered, been around a long time. They've been using it for a long time. It's not anything new, but it does take a certain amount of skill to be able to make something like that and to make it work right. And we just happen to possess that skill,
Awesome.
So the other thing I wanted to do, go ahead, Paul, you got another question?
Yeah, I've just got a question just in regards to the schematic. Do the customers normally bring the schematics to you, or do you engineer and design like this fitting or these hoses for the customer? Like, do you create the solution for them, or do they say this is what we want and you build it?
9 times out of 10, it's going to be just a generic description that they have, and the description may or may not be adequate enough for us to really tell what it is. So a lot of times, in this case, I got a sort of a generic description, and there was some questions that I had. So instead of trying to go back and forth on emails to figure it out, I just draw it up real quick, send it to them and say, hey, is this what you want? And they came back and said, yeah, that's exactly what
got you. So based on experience and just being in the field, you're like, this is probably going to solve your problem. This is what you need.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. And well, so the only other question I really have for you in regards to these fittings or these hoses you're building right now is, how do you validate the actual quality of a fitting once it's made?
All right, that's a really good question. So once we've made a hose assembly, unless it's something really generic, we 100% non-destructive test that hose assembly. For us, we're going to 100% hydro test every hose assembly that we make at 1.5 times the maximum allowable working pressure of that assembly. In this case, like this one is going to be 250 PSI because cam and groove fittings are limited to that pressure. So we'll test it to 300 and what is that? Come on, quick math there.
Don't
Bryce.
ask me. Don't ask Bryce.
We're going to test it to 375. So 1.5 times the working pressure of that assembly. We do that for every one that we make. And if the hose is going into a service that doesn't like water to be present, and it's almost impossible to get a hose completely dry after we've hydro tested it. So if it's in a case where it's going into, say, an acid service where water and the chemical just do not mix, we have other test means. We can dye penetrant test it. We have a level 2 certified dye penetrant test person on staff. We can also do radiographic testing, which is an X-ray, a number of other mag particle. And then we can do an air test, a bubble test, air underwater. So there's a number of different tests that customers may or may not want that we offer. And it just really depends on the criticality of the service that's going in and how much scrutiny it needs.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep.
So, well, that was the last mailbag question I had. I think you had something to show us, or?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys mobile for a minute here. Give me just a second. Well,
Alex, what'd you put in your hair today? It looks pretty good.
Does it? It's just sweat, Bryce. Just a little sweat. You know, that's all I use. A little sweat and grease. You know.
Well played, young man.
It's a good look on him, huh, Bryce?
Yes, I'm a little jealous. He's a lot jealous. A lot jealous.
Bryce is
Okay,
jealous.
you guys can see me, huh?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
sir, we can see you. Uh-oh, are we going on a field trip?
All right, here we
Yeah,
go.
this is new to
Let
the
me see if
pod.
I
This
can-
is awesome.
Okay, so
Manufacturing.
this is some stuff that
Yeah.
we've done this week. Actually, in the past 2 days, this is stuff that we've done, and this is some little short assemblies. These are 3/4 inch diameter, double braided, so they're for high pressure service. Stainless steel with JIC female swivel fittings on each end, and so if you can see, you know, the weld quality that we have going into this stuff is pretty high. So this, anytime we see a JIC fitting, which is very typical on like machinery and things of that nature, they may be using it for hydraulic fluid or whatever. There's usually high pressures involved. So we've got to make sure, you know, like these were tested at like 2,400 PSI. So they're pretty high pressure. So we made 40 of these this week, in the past 2 days, I think. And then, I think we made 40 of these as well. These are high pressure fittings. These are called stub ends. It's a tubing fitting. Usually going to see them in like lab and things like that, labs. Another just a compression fitting type of style fitting, and same thing, double braided, 316 stainless. And by the way, we just got our brand new laser in about 10 minutes ago. So
Wow.
we're gonna be pumping out tags and ferrules with information on them for our customers like nobody's business.
I'll give you $5 if you do a laser on the back of your hand, Alex.
I'll do it wherever you want, buddy. Wherever you want.
Yeah. That out.
So I'm gonna take you live over here. We're actually finishing up some work for the week, and let you see what we got going.
We lost him. We lost Alex.
We've
Alex, I think he might have tripped.
He's gone dark.
He
He's
was
gone dark.
walking down the shop floor. He tripped over a hose. He's probably getting a bad connection out of the shop. I bet. He's probably
Yeah, that's probably
too far
exactly.
away from the router.
It's probably exactly the solution.
Paul, what are you doing this weekend, man?
Let's see. Taking my daughter somewhere. We'll be doing some fun festivities. I'm not exactly sure what it is yet, but we'll figure
I was
something.
sure you were going to say you were going to go on some other recon mission.
Now with my daughter, I can't have her. Listen, we just got her out of diapers. I'm not putting her
Okay.
back into one.
Alex is back.
Here we go. Let's pick up where we left off. Sorry about that, guys. All right.
Problem.
So here we've got a turntable and a normal TIG welder setup, a turntable that we retrofitted, and we're doing a little bit of TIG welding here on some hose. And that's where it starts out, is doing a cap weld. There's 2 welds to every end. I think I've said that before on a previous podcast, but takes a lot of skill and being very meticulous to be able to do these types of welds. So TIG welding, you do a cap weld, and then you put your fitting attachment weld on there.
You know, I didn't realize it was so labor intensive to make these fittings. Like this is serious. I thought it was like,
Oh yeah,
I thought it was like a machine that pumped these things out. And you're welding them one by one.
There is some like autogenous welding machines in the market that can do some of it, but there's just so many different geometries and fitting geometries and hose geometries that it's almost impossible to have a completely autogenous process. I mean, it would cost a lot of money. We'd have to charge a lot more for hoses. So
Nice.
Fantastic, Alex. That's some high quality hose right there, brother.
Some serious hose, boys.
So we've got plenty more to work with. Got more coming every day. So bring it on.
Like I said, perfect package.
How many different area codes do you think you've supplied hose in?
Oh, probably 20. At least.
Different area codes.
Different area codes. We got hose in all kinds of area codes.
Bryce.
Right
on.
So we
guys,
also
we
have.
appreciate it.
Let me go ahead and show this real quick, Paul.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got a.
Good job, hose. It's a nice big ass
also
fan you got up there.
we've talked a lot about metal hose so far, but we've also got a big crimp machine. It's a custom crimp 650, where it can open up to, I believe it's 12.5 inches. It'll accommodate a 6-inch, 150-pound flange passing through it, and this is where it passes through, and you would crimp fittings onto soft wall hoses like rubber hoses or thermoplastic hoses. So whenever yeah, you make lots of things with this machine. We just program it in. It's all right. It's going to pop up here, and I can pre-program different hoses in, and just hit go and crimp. We could probably put out 500 hoses a day out of this machine. No kidding. So, on the metal side, we go from 1/4 inch all the way up to 24-inch diameter at any length you want. And on rubber, it's probably 1/4 inch all the way up to, I would say, 12 inches what we can do in-house. So pretty soon we've got a new welding machine. We've gotten hooked up here, and we're getting another turntable, another welding station set up. So we'll be ready to roll with a lot of welded assemblies, a lot of crimped assemblies.
I mean, as far as your capacity goes, Alex, how would you compare that to most any other capability of any other hose shop?
Capacity has a lot of different things to do with it. Equipment wise, I'm sure there's shops that have more equipment, but it really has to do with the inefficiency of the people making the hose, or efficiency of the people making the hoses. The better, but some of our guys have 20 years of experience doing this. So, that goes a long way whenever you start talking about the efficiency of how well they can get through hose assemblies. We can put out a lot of hose assemblies, and we've done it, in a short amount of time, on holidays, weekends, nights, whatever. And so I haven't come across an order yet that we weren't able to fill on time. Put it that way.
As far as diameter, we probably have as much capacity to do as large.
Oh yeah,
diameter as anybody, right?
Yeah, we can do any diameter. We could go, we could do 10-foot diameter if that's what somebody wanted, if we could find the components to do it with, But really, you don't see, as far as welded assemblies, you don't see anything over 24-inch. That's very rare. I think we've talked about maybe doing expansion joints in the future. We start doing that, we'll start talking about larger diameter than 24 inch probably. But our equipment, our people, they'll be able to do whatever diameter is thrown at us. As long as we can find the components to do it with, we can do it.
Well done, Alex Huber. Alex,
Dude,
that was a great segment, man.
Yeah, that was awesome, and that was Alex Hoover from Patriot Fluid Transfer Solutions, part of the Patriot Group family. The whole package of the bolts and hose right here, guys. So you guys know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions for Alex, put it in the comments. Any questions for mailbag, sales@patriotbolt.com. Bryce, you didn't say the mailbag chime today.
Mailbag.
There you go. Folks,
guys,
that's it for me.
You guys aren't at a brewery like us, but we're going to pretend like you have a beer. We're going to cheers you from all the way over here.
Well, I'm right there with you. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm still getting over the swamp water, so I'm good.
Link over there.
Hey,
All right,
Kris.
guys. You guys have a good weekend. Alex, keep working. Don't have a good weekend. Keep working, brother.
We're gonna have a good weekend and keep working. How about that?
Awesome.
See you guys.
Guys.
Adios.
Later, fellas.
Boats and hoes, boats and hoes. I gotta have me my boats and hoes. Boats and hoes, boats and hoes. I gotta have me